The Consolidated Problems section of the ambulatory workflow is intended to be a brief summary of your patient's current diagnosis and past medical history. The view will show diagnoses for this visit as well as chronic issues reported on previous visits. Let's take a look. It's important to note that the shading on the buttons for each diagnosis denotes whether or not it is selected. So if I look at the second diagnosis for torticollis, the blue shading on this visit means that this is marked as a diagnosis for this visit. The white shading of the chronic box means that no one has ever marked this as a chronic issue. Just below that, if you look at the congenital anomaly of the cervical spine, you can see that both are shaded blue. So not only is this a diagnosis for this visit, but at some point someone has marked this as a chronic diagnosis. If a diagnosis is listed as just chronic but not something that is for this visit, it will still show up in this list with the blue chronic shaded but the This Visit button white and unselected. At any time, to modify these, you can simply click a button to change its status. So if I wanted to resolve the torticollis because it's not an applicable diagnosis for this visit, I'll just click the This Visit button and it will remove it. If the congenital anomaly of the cervical spine was not chronic, all I have to do is either click the chronic button or click the Resolve button, and it will leave it as a diagnosis for this visit, but remove it as a chronic issue. To add a new diagnosis for this visit, I make sure that the Add New As filter is on this visit, and I simply type the diagnosis into the box. I can also add new things as both this visit and chronic, or simply add something new as chronic, but not for this visit, based on where you set the filter before you search for a new item.